Welcome to this Hope to Go. Today I want to talk to you about Are We There Yet? And it's the Christian response to pain and suffering. You know, I've gone through a little bit of pain myself, not maybe a little, a lot. Losing my dad and going to the hospital with family members, I learned a lot of truths out of the pain and suffering. And I want to give that to you today. Number one, life can be overwhelming, but God is good. The psalmist said in Psalm 61:2, "From the ends of the earth I will cry to you. When my heart is overwhelmed, Lord, lead me to the rock that is higher than I." Child of God, this is an absolute truth. God never wastes a hurt. We all look to escape the pain in our lives. The psalmist was no different, and neither was the Apostle Paul in the New Testament. In 2 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 6, he says, "To keep me from becoming conceited, because of these surpassingly great revelations, there was given me a thorn in my flesh, a messenger of Satan, to torment me. 3 times I pleaded with the Lord to take it away from me. But he said to me," listen to this, "My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness." Paul wanted desperately to be finished with the torment he was going through, but he learned that God's grace was powerful enough to sustain him. For many, there are pains of prolonged sickness. For others, it may be a family or a financial issue or poor choices that have plagued you forever, and you would love to simply forget they ever occurred. Life can be overwhelming, but God is good. Psalms 37:25 says, "I have been young and I have been old, yet I have not seen the righteous forsaken, nor their descendants begging bread." Claim that promise for yourself today. And number 2, God is faithful. Isaiah 43:2 says this, and I want you to own this. "When you pass through the waters, I'll be with you. And through the rivers, they shall not overflow you. When you walk through the fire, you shall not be burned, nor shall the flame scorch you." This may be one of the hardest things for people going through pain or living with pain to understand, but God is faithful to be a source of power and strength in our weakness. 2 Corinthians 1:9 says it this way in the New Living. "In fact, we expected to die, but as a result, we stopped relying on ourselves and learned to rely on God, who raises the dead." He did rescue us from mortal danger, and he will rescue us again. We have placed our confidence in him, and he will continue to rescue us. Wow. Paul lets us know that even though he was going to die, he felt like he was just completely finished, he relied on the power of God to sustain him. God is able to deliver us from whatever the circumstances we may be going through. But whatever you do, don't lose faith in God. Stay in your faith. The God who was faithful to deliver in the past can be trusted in our future. God is faithful. But finally, it's working for your good. This is what a Christian has to understand. Revelations chapter 12:11 says, "And they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb, by the word of their testimony, and they did not love their lives to the death." They didn't shrink back. This is a timeless, powerful truth. We often think that the way that God can be really honored is if we're healed or if we simply learn to bury our pain and our suffering and never allow anyone to see our weakness. Paul tells a different story to the Corinthians, which we can really benefit from. Paul says that not only do their prayers encourage him, but they allow others to hear his story. 2 Corinthians, it says this in chapter 1:11, "And you are helping us by praying for us." Don't go it alone. Get some people praying for you. Then many people will give thanks because God has graciously answered so many of our prayers for safety. God is not only the God of healing, he is a God of supporting. When we feel like our lives are out of control and we cannot go it, God can be trusted and he can bring you through. And that's your hope to go.